Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our second segment of Sports Central. Hank Long along with Neil Duncan.
Yes,
and what a fun show so far. And this is going to be an interesting segment because we have our communications specialist with Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, Mr. Al Snow, joining us. And Al, great having you on the show.
Well, I do want to mention, since you yelled at me before the segment, to remember the Bright House. The Bright House is
sponsor.
The sponsor, and then you went
Still
right into
helping
the
you.
segment, so you're throwing me off, Hank. But Bright House Networks are our sponsor, and we appreciate them. Now, Al, you can talk.
Al, you can talk. We're live. Hey, it's Friday. It's a
You've never
fun
had
day.
such a great
It's
intro,
live.
have you?
No, definitely, and glad to be here for the first time since I joined.
Really?
the team
This is the
over
first
there.
time on the
On
TV
the show?
Since I joined the team, yeah.
How have you eluded this opportunity so far?
Turn my lights off
You-
on Friday afternoon and hide
Friday
under
at
my
11,
desk.
you're out of there.
Exactly.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on the PR side of things.
Well, right now we've just gotten a little bit of a coup. We just landed the 2013 Bike Florida Spring Bike Tour. In its 19-year history, we've never hosted it in Central Florida, and working with our friends at Florida Bicycle Association and Bike Florida, we're hosting the tour next year, so we're looking forward to that.
And that's somewhat surprising with all the trails and you know the county commission and the county has put so much into really biking infrastructure here in Polk County because a lot of the roadways or farm or rails or trails are connected. How are we able to get that, and then what does that mean for Polk County?
Well, I think we are kind of finally being recognized as a place for bicyclists to come and enjoy. You know, I mean, we're a little unique in Florida with all the hills that we have, so it's a surprise that we haven't been found before. But working with the folks from Bike Florida, they just really feel it's something different. They've done a lot of tours before up in the Panhandle, incorporated a lot of the beaches and those type of destinations, and they're really kind of focusing on getting back to natural Florida and the citrus groves and Bach Tower Gardens and a lot of what we're going to have to offer next spring. So really kind of a departure from what they've done in the past.
And where will the tour be? Where will they exactly be cycling as they're doing
Well,
this?
they're going to cover almost 700 miles while they're here.
Oh, my gosh. And how long are they here for to do that?
They'll be here for an entire week. They'll be here, they'll be here for, the tour is 7 days. They're going to spend the first 3 days in the Lakeland area. They'll do basically 3 routes per day. You can choose from a 20 mile, a 40 mile, and they'll do a few century rides while they're here. So the first 3 days, the rides will be in and around Lakeland, going to Bartow, heading down south towards Frostproof and some of the outlying areas in the county. Then they take 2 days to go up to Lake County. They'll spend 2 days in Claremont, and then the tour will wrap up with 2 days in Lake Wells. So they're going to do, Bach Tower. They're going to do some of the areas around Haines City. They hope to do the Ironman route as one of their rides. So it's not a speed tour like you may see the Tour de France or things like that. It's an actual tour where they're staying in local hotels or camping locally, going to the local attractions
wow.
and spending their money in the local communities.
Well, yeah, and I think that's important to note because as we continue, sports marketing has been going on for over 20 years now, and this is another one of those diversifying our portfolio. It's not an event that is taking place on a grass field or inside a gymnasium type of thing. It's a different type of economic impact because they're using the natural resources, they're using the roadways. That's important because you can only have so many baseball or softball events, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's something, like you said, kind of outside the box. We really haven't done, we haven't won this tour in the past or haven't done anything like this in the past. So it offers, going out there to find some other maybe bicycle events or tours like this. Getting into it ourselves, never even realized there's an entire tour throughout the United States where they'll go to Tour Michigan one week, they'll go to Virginia the next week, and this tour basically kind of travels around the country. So it gives us a little credibility and the ability to maybe get some more of these tours here and maybe set up something more permanent.
Now, when you say they come and they tour, and they go from state to state, that's pretty fascinating in itself, just because of the expense involved that they do, and especially if they're doing them for a week, and maybe not all the tours are quite that long. But is it broken down to where you have, you know, people that are doing this riding? You've got like the A-team riders that are really good, and then you've got riders that aren't quite that caliber, and some that just take their time doing the tour. Or
Yeah, what they do is some of the longer, like the century rides and those type of things, you'll have people that are more interested in kind of seeing how fast they can complete the tour. But a lot of it's focused, I mean, a lot of the people that do the tour are former educators or educators, and their goal is to learn about the area that they're touring in. So some of those 20-mile and 40-mile rides that they'll do each day are purposely routed through, whether it's arts attractions or you know, like I said, Bach Tower Gardens or some of those, Fantasy of Flight. They'll route them so that they have time during the day to go to those attractions.
They
as
can
a part
stop
of their,
and-
they can
and-
stop. I mean, they're not, basically they leave their site in the morning at 8 o'clock. They're not really due back to 5, 6 o'clock at night, so they can really kind of plan what they're going to do.
Very
And
cool.
a lot of times what will happen is at the end of the tour, there's places they didn't get to spend enough time in. The tour purposely ends on a Friday to give them Saturday and Sunday to actually go back to some of those places they want to spend more time at. And again, pump additional money into the economy and visit some of those places they just saw with it while they were riding by.
So it's an experiential type ride. It's not necessarily competitive. They're going to be, it's not from A to B, they're going to be stopping along the way, and so the economic impact is like a normal leisure traveler, right?
Yeah, I mean they're encouraged to stop at the attractions. One of the big things that we're working with Bike Florida to set up is a lot of the chambers of commerce, like the Lakeland Chamber of Commerce, working with the restaurants and retail shops on the route to basically welcome these bicyclists and set up programs where they can go in, buy anything within the store that they want, and have it shipped home and not have to worry about how they're going to get it back on a bicycle. So a lot of it is, the credit to Bike Florida is that they are really focused on the local communities, the local retailers, the local restaurants will, you know, feed everybody throughout the week. So that's really the focus, and those bicyclists take advantage of that.
That's great. It'd be a, you know, kind of a neat experience, especially for these people that are camping out. I mean, you can just kind of, you know, kind of get away from it all. You know, if you're staying in one of the parks around here where you can camp, and it'd be a very unique educational experience, along with just, you know, kind of more of a nature bike ride than just, you know,
Right.
You know, doing the run and you're done and you go home, which you really get to even experience more of the, you know, what we have to offer
Well,
around
I
here.
would think that the social media aspect of things, because these are going to be people that are in an organized ride, but they're going to be, you know, Facebook, Twitter, everything has changed really how people read or find out about other locations. So I've got to think that that's going to be a big part of this event.
Well, that and the fact that, I mean, we're expecting between 700 and 1,000 people participating in this. So
Oh
I mean,
my gosh.
it is almost a moving city.
Yeah.
The people come from throughout the basically eastern United States and Canada. May get some people from a little bit further west, but once they go, you know, their experience while they're here, so, you know, whether they're using Twitter or Facebook and kind of reliving their rides through, you know, their social media, but also the impact of when they go back home. That's a lot of people telling
Right.
the story of Polk County when they go back home, and, you know, with the hope of driving additional people.
Well,
here in the future.
even Foursquare. I mean, is they're going along the route, because you're saying they're going into multiple places, checking into Foursquare. People who are looking at that are saying, "Oh, I wonder where that is." Or the publicity just continues to roll on with this type of event. So fantastic.
It's gonna be a great impact. We'll keep our fingers crossed for some good weather. It's the end of March next year. I mean, they can hit some spring training games while they're at it. I mean, there's a lot of
Right.
things they can do, and
Yeah.
I think everybody will kind of welcome them with open arms and really make it something that will pay dividends, you know, on down the road.
Well, I was talking about the social media aspect of things. Tell us about the blogs that we have and the Twitter accounts, because I know even our Sports Central show on WLKF each week, there's 2 trivia questions. We now actually tweet a hint to one of the questions for the answer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we came up with just to kind of give everybody a little heads up about what's going on Sports Central and giving them a kind of inside track. So at Central FL Sports and at visit fl.centralfl our Twitter handles, and you can follow either of those to find out not only what's going on in Sports Central, but everything that's going on in the community. We regularly update a lot of our events, as well as anything that may be coming up over the course of the weekend, special events. That's a good way to follow us while you're on your mobile phone and
Right.
wanting to know what's going on.
Let's also talk a little bit about the websites, because I know there's all kinds of great content on the websites. There's things called ebooks. I didn't even know what an ebook was. What is an ebook?
Basically, an ebook is we take a topic such as golf and expand on just basic listings of a golf course and what they have to offer. So we'll tell a little bit about maybe a story, or our last travel and destinations piece that was in the Ledger that we're kind of building an ebook on was basically a tour around Polk County and some of the definite must-see golf courses that you have to play. Gets a little bit more in depth about what you have to offer and what you can expect when you go to the golf course. So we do those for a lot of different topics throughout the year. We'll do one for outdoors and nature. We'll do one for cycling, and it gives you a little bit better picture than just a listing and an address and a website.
All right. Well, Al, always a book of information.
Yeah, and it's
Not an ebook, but a real book.
Well, maybe next time.
Maybe next time you can just
We'll get even further into
maybe
the
we
social
can
media.
Skype you into
Yeah.
the show.
There you
It sounds
go.
like a great event, and just another way of reaching out to get a different clientele here to the to the county, and get to see all the great stuff we have to offer, especially being outside, being in the parks, and the great trails we've got.